Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Effective Teaching Podcast. I'm your host, Dan, and I want to thank you so much for giving up a portion of your time to come and join me here on this show. Now, don't forget, I'm currently giving away a free chapter of my book, Work Less, Teach More: How to Be an Effective Teacher and Live a Life that You Love. This chapter will help you to identify what matters most to you and discover how to prioritize this in your daily tasks. If you'd like to grab that, please head over to teacherspd.net/book chapter and you can grab that free chapter and start to implement what you learn. Now today we are talking all about brown cows and purple cows. Now this concept comes from a very famous expert in marketing called Seth Godin. And I thought today I would explain this, the idea that he has, and how to apply it to teaching. I have dubbed this episode Purple Cow Teaching, Be Remarkable. And the basic concept here is that brown cows are boring. We don't notice them and certainly don't spend much time talking about them. We might be driving somewhere, looking out a window, seeing brown cows, no one cares. But if you see a purple cow, you would be telling everyone. It would really grab your attention, right? You'd say, oh my goodness, I saw a purple cow. And they'll be like, what? You saw a purple cow? So that's what we're talking about. So when it comes to marketing, the way this works is basically you want to stand out, right? You want to do something different so that people talk about it and share it with everyone else, and so that it's something that's remarkable, right? It's something they're going to talk about all the time. It want to be memorable. So your ad, your product, or your service, it's all about making it something that people will remark about to each other. Now, in teaching, obviously we're not in marketing, well, a little bit maybe, but I want to encourage you to try and be remarkable as a teacher and make sure you create remarkable lessons. You want to stand out and be different. It will help your students to remember the lesson and get them talking about it. So think of your students, right? I remember when I was a student doing my dip ed, one of my assignments was to follow a student around all day, and I noticed very quickly that it was very boring. They have the same kind of things every lesson, and you need to think about that and go, well, how can I break that cycle for my student and have them come into my lesson and go, oh my goodness, this is going to be different to everything else I've been doing today, or everything else we're going to do for the rest of the day, because this lesson is different. So try and think of a way that you could do this by just starting your lesson in a new way. Don't just have your students walk in, sit down, and get out their stuff. Pretty much every lesson is like that. You want to make yours different. Maybe you're going to present the content or skill in a way that is interesting and different as well. Maybe you could do your own kind of solo drama, dress up in a costume, decorate the classroom to match the lesson. Anything. You don't have to do all those, right? Pick one. But you want something that's going to draw the students' attention. Maybe it's just having music playing as the kids enter the classroom, but music that can connect to what you're actually going to be teaching them. You want to draw attention to the important bits of information as you present it as well, if you are doing that. So do something like, I don't know, make it stand out. I know when I presented PowerPoint slides and stuff, I would often get the key bits of pieces of information I would make bold, or I'll put flashing lights or arrows that moved around pointing to that bit of information to really make it clear to the students what they needed to pay attention to. And I do the same in some of my videos that I make for students as well. If there's something really important, I'll flash it up on the screen for them. Don't be afraid as you're doing this to embrace the idea of embarrassing yourself. And if you're totally against that, that's okay, you don't have to. But if you're someone who doesn't mind embarrassing yourself, give it a go and see how your students respond to that. We need, as teachers, to really be creative in how we're doing this. Now, one way that I want to encourage you to think about this is I want you to try and think of how you can create a lesson that your students will still be talking about at their graduation. In fact, I want you to try and come up with a lesson that your students would include in their graduation speech. That would be saying to you, hey, Mr. or Miss, whatever your name is, right? Remember when you did this, right? And they'll all laugh and you'll laugh, and hopefully it'll be something that's really engaging. And they'll be like, we've never had a lesson like that, before that or since then because that lesson was so amazing. So trying to make sure that what you're doing just stands out and is different. Make it something that the students will remark about. So this week, I want you to have a look at your lessons. Well, if you're in New South Wales and you're on holidays, look at next term's lesson. Look at the first week back. What can you do or change to make just one of your lessons this week or that week remarkable, where your students are going to be commenting about it? What can you do to get your students talking about your lesson all through the year and even into next year, possibly even all the way up to when they're graduating? Once you do it, I would love for you to let me know. Please head to teacherspd.net/90. I'd love for you to leave me a comment there and send me a message on Instagram maybe. I'm at Dan Jackson TPD. I would love to hear from you and to find out what you do to implement this. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to listen today. Don't forget to grab the free chapter from my book. Just head over to teacherspd.net/book chapter and there's more information there and you can grab that chapter and read it for free, and hopefully you enjoy it, and let me know if you do. If you like this episode, please leave a review of the podcast. It'll allow other people to find it more easily. And you may also like to subscribe to make sure that you come back next week when I'll be talking with my good friend Leslie about how networking can really impact teaching.